This is Fins TV, a Miami Dolphins inspired podcast, fueled by the power of positivity. Here are your hosts, Finn Samey and Steve Allen.
Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins. Welcome to Fins TV, the Gofins area, and hello, my co-Steve Allen. Steve, welcome to a War Room Draft Simulation on Fins TV.
War Room Draft Simulation, Fins TV. How you doing, Sammy? Good to see you again. How are you doing?
A long time. It's been like a month or so.
Man, I don't think we go from every single week to breaking it up like 3-4 weeks in between. It's I miss seeing your smiling face.
I miss you. I miss Jerry. I miss all our friends. But believe me, it's been so rewarding to do the show.
I'm not even doing the work, and I'm like, oh man, it's nice to have a break. I can only imagine how it is for you, but. No, it's a brand new Dolphins season. I know really the league year started off already, but this is really when it starts to get going. The draft, free agency's been going, but for the Dolphins fans, it really wasn't. And then the schedule release, mini camps, and I mean, really it goes back to back to back to back from this point forward. So.
Absolutely. So this started for us, or for me. Can you imagine how crisp we are feeling right now? We'll talk about that in a minute. So, can you can imagine? So on this episode,
I don't know if the music is.
Oh, is it better? Hey, okay. On this episode, the replacements we're gonna tell the ladies on. Is it too late for the Dolphins to trade Tyreek Hill? And with so many helps, how are the Dolphins gonna find ways to replace everybody that have not in the season? Also, we're gonna talk about Mike McDaniel. Can Mike McDaniel change his ways? We'll talk about that, and of course, our draft simulation, the Dolphins TV War Room for a second year old. We're gonna have our friends Jason Starling and the controversial Eddie Chapman to help us with the War Room episode. So. It should be very interesting. A lot of things have happened, but we're gonna begin with the latest on Tyreek Hill. Is it too late for the Dolphins to move along with Tyreek Hill?
I'm out, bro.
At first I was afraid, I was petrified. I kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent so many nights just thinking how you'd done me wrong. I grew strong. I learned how to get along, and so
this is my public apology to you too. I love you, bro.
Space. I just walked in to find you here without that look upon your face. I should have changed my lock. I would have made you leave your key if I'd have known for just 1 second you'd be back to bother me. Oh, now go walk out the door. Just turn around. Now you're not welcome
Video of Tyreek Hill on the balcony of the Sunday.
You the one who tried to.
For about the fourth year in a row, was asked about potentially trading Tyreek Hill. And if you follow Tyreek Hill on Twitter or on any social media platform, you know why he's constantly teasing a potential trade, constantly teasing where he may end up going, and goes on Radio Row, for instance, during the Super Bowl, and says, everything's fine, I'm not getting traded, but then does it again. What Chris Greer essentially said is there are no trade talks surrounding Tyreek Hill. No one has reached out. They have not reached out to anyone.
Right here. I believe so. No, backwards.
I just gotta say this, bro.
Maybe.
I love being a Dolphin, bro, with all my life, bro. I don't take no days for granted.
So we're not here.
But if you say something on Twitter, I have no choice but to troll. Enjoy the day.
It never ends with Tyreek Hill. It never ends with the Dolphins. The latest incident, of course, no charges were filed. Well, I'm sure as I am, we're happy no one got hurt. It was a minor incident, but when you accumulated everything that happened to Tyreek Hill during his stay in Miami, of course we know he was a goof. That I have no problem with that part of him. But when you accumulate all those things of the field incidents, it gets to be too much. The question is, Steve, is it too late for the Dolphins as of right now to take Tyreek Hill during the draft? Probably.
Well, I think there's a couple ways to look at it. And first of all, I'll throw this out there because I know we're going to be joined by Jason and Eddie. Maybe somebody knows. Maybe you know, Sammy. I don't know if there's any language in his contract that, they could. They're still in a position where they could hold him accountable going back to, him leaving the field, or if there's some statute of limitations that he can't because it's new league year. Or his off-field conduct. I mean, you flash all that stuff up there, and I seriously forget. There's so much of it, and I forget how many stupid things that he's been involved with this team. But he wore out his welcome. The bottom line is he's worn out his welcome. Somebody of his caliber, look, he's wide receivers of his caliber are divas. It's nothing new. It's been like that for decades. But he's bringing it to a different level with who he is, and he does not bring especially in 2024 season, but right now he hasn't brought the value back to the team of what he should be bringing in terms of the leadership, how to conduct yourself on the field, off the field, all that different stuff. It's just so many different distractions. And then when you go back before he even quit on the team last year, he was excused from practices because of an illness or because of something going on, and then he's going live from his Soul Runner store at the mall. There's just too many things, and I know we're going to talk about it in our next segment with the coach, but the culture in Miami is really, truly suffering. I wish it wasn't too late to trade Tyreek Hill. I really believe that there will not be anybody out there willing to give up anything major, but frankly, I'd take very little right now in exchange just to get him off this team and start moving on.
Absolutely. Let's go for a second before we go to our guests with the comments. Of course, Cherry had it, of course. There you go. Cosa Nostra, resident Fins viewer. Hi, Cosa. Hope everyone had a great 420 Easter weekend. Let's get to this draft started. So we chose offensive and defensive linemen with every pick. Well, with so many holes in I think they have 2 corners and four defensive tackles. So that should be key. And welcome to the list. What's up, guys? What's up?
What's up?
It's getting to be too much. Even I like Tyreek Hill, the player, without a doubt, for sure. No one can deny he's a future Hall of Famer at the end of the day, but it gets to be too much. The little things because the trolling, of course, is annoying because, of course, when you have so many problems and you're trying to not to focus on them, and he finds a way to focus on the trade, to focus on every single thing he does. Again, but it's like he said, he can't resist himself. You saw the last part of the video. He just can't resist himself. So, again, we're happy it didn't come to anything more, but the league probably will be checking the latest report. I think I thought Armando Salgado said that there's a report in the lawsuit about what Tyreek does as a dad, that he does to take care of his kid. That's going to be devastating. The NFL is for sure probably going to find a way to get into the business of checking what really happened. And you know what? After so many things, it might be time for Tyreek Hill to get maybe a suspension. Hopefully not, but for the Dolphins to do something. I think there's a clause, the contract determined to the team. You were asking about that. I think there is. I saw a report that it was. So we'll see what happens. So I don't
have any belief that the team has the guts to pull the trigger on something like that.
You're right on that. That's a complete dissociation. The way Chris reacted in that press conference was like, he's here every single day. He's training. I had no problem with it. But probably he doesn't want. He looks like he has an angry Jalen Ramsey. He doesn't want an angry Tyreek Hill too in that locker room. So that's probably it. So next we're gonna be joined by our guest Jason Sarni and the controversial Eddie Chapman. But let's go on the Fins TV media before we go to the segment.
Lewis, would it be a mistake to move on from either Ramsey or Hill for the Dolphins?
No, I'll say no only in this regard. Look, I love Jalen Ramsey. I've got to meet him, got to talk to him. Look, his positional versatility, his competitiveness, it's second to none. It's second to none. And Tyreek, the same way. His production on the football field is second to none. We know what kind of game breaker this young man is. This usually goes far beyond, though, what you feel as though their value on the football field is. This seems to be something that has to do with whether or not these players are better to get their presence moved on to some other football team because it's not having the kind of positive impact that it needs to have at their present location. That's what this sounds like to me, because you can easily make the argument that these guys are still very, very productive players that you can win a lot of football games with. This seems like a culture situation at this point in time.
Lewis, will you stop it, bro? Come on, man. You're too connected. You know too much about football to just give us that answer. That's not good enough. You know what this is about. They don't believe they can rely on Tua Tagovailoa. Period. The health. I'm clearly not talking about his game. I'm talking about his health. Because if you believe that that your season is falling apart over the last couple of years because of his.
Can you hear me, guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm gonna check my headphone because I think you can hear me. So I'm gonna welcome our esteemed guest, Jason Sarney, and friend of the show and the controversial Eddie Chabot. Take it away, Steve.
Gentlemen,
before I do something with
how's it going? So, I mean, as you see here, and I know we just talked about Tyreek Hill. Before we move into Jalen Ramsey, I wanted to give Jason and Eddie, I'll give you the chance first here. We've had a lot of conversations over the last, couple of years on Fins TV about bringing in somebody like Tyreek Hill, what he brings to the team, but with everything else going on here, is it time for the Dolphins to seek that trade? Do you think that there's any chance that they actually are doing it? I don't know. What do you think, Eddie?
I think they should explore every option to get rid of him at this point. I've been a big supporter of Tyreek Hill. Even you can ask Sammy that like last year. But this offseason, everything changed for me again. It just the way he treats people, women especially. It's just he's a distraction, and he's going to do something again this year. He just is. He cannot not do something at this point in his career. I mean, I'd love the player, like Sammy said, on the field, but the man off the field is not something you need on the team. And I know they said they'd have no problem naming him captain again. Well, there's your problem right there with your team. If that man's a captain, you have no leadership.
100%. Absolutely, Eddie. Jason, you seem to be more plugged in with a lot of the different stuff out there. Would there even be a market for a team? And if there is any type of market, what is it that a team might be willing to give up for somebody like Tyreek Hill with all of the possible upside, but a very high probability of a lot of off-field downside?
Clearly a lot of distractions, clearly a lot of red tape that comes with trading him, with the contracts, with the money, the dead cap. So is there a market, maybe for the absolute right deal, but will it happen in the next 2 days? Very small chance, because that dead cap ramifications of any trade pre-June 1 can really hurt the Dolphins. I don't know if the team wants to make that move during draft week anyway, but maybe we're looking at a post-June 1st situation where it could be a minimal return, or if they cut bait via just release, that's a possibility. But if someone comes calling, if it is a draft scenario, they have to go down every possible avenue to see if it would be worth it. At the end of the day, I think he will probably not be traded during this draft process, and we'll see if there's anything in the coming months and, of course, in the summer. But they have to make every attempt.
Agreed. Sorry. No, I definitely agree with you that it'd be. If I was to bet, my guess is he is a Miami Dolphin at the beginning of the league, when we start in week 1. I just think they've buried themselves in a very expensive contract. They knew what they were getting into. I mean, hell, if we're all being honest with ourselves, when he came to Miami, we all knew what we were getting in him. And as we were celebrating the possibilities and the potentials of what he could bring to us on the field, we knew what we were getting for that off of it. And I don't listen to, I don't hear anything that he says, because frankly, he's just in that moment trying to get clicks. He tries to push buttons. I really think he loves being with the Miami Dolphins just as much as he says he loves whoever it is that he's with that night, and he's about ready to get another baby. I mean, I don't think he really truly loves anything other than himself and the image that he has. And Eddie, you hit the nail on the head. I look at who we had as our team captains last year. What did we have? 8 of them? 9 of them? 19? I think we're at about 50% of those left that might be Miami Dolphins next year, maybe.
In the last 2 years, yes.
Just last year's captains.
Captain, and Wilkins was a captain before, and
I'm just last year's captains. I mean, we're going to see, Jalen Ramsey, he's gone. We'll use this as an opportunity to kind of parlay the conversation into Jalen Ramsey. Jason, I'll toss it over to you first. What do you think? What is Jalen as good as gone? We've seen the different reports out there. People are now saying, hey, there's a trade definitely coming through. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, look, nothing happens until it officially happens, but it seems that all the steps are going to be taken for the Dolphins to try to make a move. Obviously, Jalen's camp, whether they requested it or whether they're accepting of it, mutually they are agreeing that it's probably time that the parties separate. So, again, like the Tyreek Hill situation, it comes to the dead cap, it comes to salary cap. I don't think it's going to be, easy for the Dolphins to get equal value in the next couple of days during draft weekend. So this could be another scenario where we're waiting until that post-June designation, which will translate for any trade purposes into 2026 draft capital. So we can conceivably be living in a world where Chris Greer deals the two players that he traded for in the F them picks era, trades them out, so he is admitting failure. And he might even collect capital that he's going to use to draft said players in the future if this is potentially his last year, because his seat is hot, whether it's a title change or responsibility change or outright whatever. These are failed moves. They went with the mentality to try to, you know what, we're close. We're going to trade a couple of first rounders. We're going to trade a second rounder. Look at the 2022 and 23 draft. It reads like a horror movie. You're vacant in multiple rounds. This is the first draft, I think, or the second draft in Chris Greer's tenure that he's vacant in the 6th round. There was only one draft that he was not vacant in all the rounds. It was 2020. It was the Tua draft. So unfortunately, he's had a failed build with building a team with players and developing them. He hasn't done that because he's gotten rid of them. And the players that he's traded for, he's going to trade them out for lower. You don't win by buying high, selling low in any way, shape, or form. And that's what's happening right now.
No. Eddie, I mean, from a standpoint, you go from one person who clearly is captain only in name and in legend out there in Tyreek Hill to somebody like Jalen Ramsey. Were in your mindset, did that surprise you to see him going, and what type of impact is that taking us into the 2025 season?
Well, I think I said to Sammy when they said whoever reported it was going to be a first or a all-pro was going to be traded from the Dolphins. I said, watch, it'll be Ramsey. I said, because that's how the Dolphins dolphin. You're going to get rid of the guy that wants to win, is all about football, and you're going to keep the guy that really is all about himself, like you said. To Jason's point, that cap hit, if they did it during the draft, I think it jumps to $25 million, and they'd only have like $3 million left to sign their draft picks or something like that. I'm not good with the numbers totally, but it would be terrible. So I see this happening.
7 million, yes.
Okay. I see this happening like for after June 1st kind of trade and something for next year, but I think he's as good as gone. And it's a shame. He definitely didn't live up to what they gave or live up to the expectations for what they gave up for him. I hate to see him go because he really is a leader on the defense. And it's Dolphins being Dolphins. That's all I can say on that one.
Yeah, no, he's that chess. Go ahead, Sammy.
It's mind-boggling the fact that we have two players in Tyreek and Jalen Ramsey who they actually found a way to get contract extensions that now they're stuck. Neither of them, of course, they will be malcontent because Tyreek wanted a restricted contract. Rosenhaus said it before last season, and Jalen Ramsey started saying, "My hamstring's hurting. I don't think I'm gonna practice," and just like that, the Dolphins found a way to give him a extension. If you listen to Joe Rose said Jalen Ramsey might be a pain in the every now and then. The guy always moody. He's a pro. He's the first one there. He's a great player. He works hard, but as a person, probably as a teammate or was an employee of the Dolphins, sometimes he's a little bit hard head cake. So
I think I always think it's going to be easier for everybody when you're winning.
Yeah.
And when you're not winning, that's when you really truly find out the character of who it is you're dealing with. Not everybody out there is going to be a Joe Thomas, how many time All-Pro and career Cleveland Brown, and that dude never once checked it in and said, I'm not doing this anymore. That's the minority of this league, those types of players. But when you have big name players, the LA Rams, they set that new model of being able to bring in a bunch of big name players and win a Super Bowl on the back of it. But it's not a sustainable model, and I don't think it's a proven model that you can say you can replicate this type of thing. And Miami seems to have this culture of they go, they're like Miami version of the Dallas Cowboys and the Miami version of the San Francisco 49ers. The Miami culture is just trying to copycat stuff that it's not a sustainable model, and they're doing it way too late. And frankly, they're not doing it in the right way. But I don't blame somebody, the professional football player in Jalen Ramsey. I do not blame him for wanting to get somewhere where me observing the culture of the Dolphins under McDaniel right now is one that it's not a pros location you want to go to. People joke about it. They care about what they're doing. They care about winning. I'm not going to say they don't, but it's a different type of mentality down here. Jordan Poyer said it last year. Other players said it throughout the year, and we'll get into it, in the next conversation here about Mike McDaniel, but it's not the right type of environment. And if Jalen Ramsey is sitting here saying, you know what, I'm how old? I've got one Super Bowl. I'm All-Pro. I would still like to get out there and compete. I'd really like to get that Lombardi trophy again. I do not blame him one bit for saying, get me the hell out of here. Jason, I don't know, any closing thoughts on Ramsey or Hill?
I mean, again, retrospectively, it's very easy to say that it's much better to, I think, retain your premium draft picks and build a team that way. If you're a team like the Eagles and you needed one more piece, you go out and you get a Saquon Barkley, and he helps you win a Super Bowl. The Dolphins were never, in the last 2 years, close to that peak. They have to first win a playoff game. They have to first prove that they can beat your Burrows, your Mahomes, your Lamars. They have not done Josh Allen. They have not done anything close to me thinking, all right, Jalen Ramsey, there you go. That's the last piece. Tyreek Hill, there you go. That's the last piece. Calais Campbell, the last piece. It's not the last piece when you have a Swiss cheese team to begin with. So you look at 4 draft picks in 2022. One of them hit. You look at 4 draft picks in 2023. Maybe one of them hit. So it's a failed attempt at duplication multiple times. And to even think that, it's sad. And something has to change.
I totally agree. And Eddie, last part here. Let's be honest here, because I admit I was high on hopium was the only reason why after the 2020, 2021 drafts, 2022, that I thought we really truly had a chance. In retrospect, we didn't. So, I mean, do you think that it made sense to go out there and make those trades for those big players when they did, to Jason's point? I mean, were we ever really that close?
No, I think, as a fan, you take the fans part out of it, of course. We always think we're close no matter what before the year starts, but they were never one player away. They've never even been close to one player away. Like Jason said, you have to win a playoff game first. And they need to start hitting on the picks that are important. The trenches, they have to be a strong team. Stop getting pushed around. And no, they shouldn't go trade for one player because they think that's it. They're just not close to that right now. Well, especially now, but them 2 years before, they made a trade each season and they wasted opportunities. Not that I had confidence Greer would pick a great player with the picks they traded away, but that's a different story.
In their last 15 I know we're in draft week. We're like hours and hours and hours away, but to not scare people, in their last 15 picks, the Dolphins, their last 15 selections across the last 3 drafts, you could argue that only 2 of them have been significant hits. That's Achane and Chop Robinson. Everyone else is a question mark or a let's wait and see. Or straight out fail. Skylar Thompson fail, Cameron Good fail, Eric Ezekama fail, Channing Tindall fail, Ryan Hayes fail, Elijah Higgins fail, Cam Smith fail, Taj Washington, put a pin in it, Patrick McMorris, let's hope, Malik Washington, some potential, Jalen Wright, give him some touches, Patrick Paul, let's see, and Chop Robinson. That's your last 15 draft picks.
Steve, I just want to say we have 3,405 people watching right now in all platforms.
Really?
We have over 3,300 watching on X.
I thought that was going to be combinations of ways Greer could screw up the draft.
That's way, add a couple zeros. Come on now. Probability.
Ed is going to say that because he returned tonight that we have over 3,000 followers.
Not because of me.
So we hope the question is before we go to the next topic of mine, Daniel. I want to go around. We're going to start with Steve. Steve, Jason, and Eddie. The Dolphins have around 10 picks. You correct me, Jason. 10 picks, 11 picks. With so many holes, do you think the Dolphins can find a way to fill not only with body, with capable players during the draft, all the holes they have? You're going to go with Jason. I'm sorry, I'm going to go with Steve. Steve, what are the odds the Dolphins can find a way to have a successful draft, to hit 4 home runs, 2 doubles, and a triple, and find a way to fill all the holes?
Okay, so he's not here, but I'll speak for Matt first. Matt Armstrong would say the draft hasn't even happened yet, so why are you counting Chris Greer out? It's not fair to the world. Stop putting it out there. That's what Matt would say. Matt would have faith, whether he really truly believed it or not. I think he would believe it. The track record says it all. Jason just gave a rundown going over the last just 15 picks. Very, very slim opportunity or chance that I think that they're going to be able to find players that hit. It's just the way Chris Greer rolls. So that's my answer. Who's next? Eddie, what do you think, man?
Last year I did a lot of draft prep.
Hey, you did.
But I had to do 5 times the amount this year because of how many holes are on this team. This is ridiculous heading into the draft. Now, I know they could sign players after June 1st. There's a lot of good free agents still out there that are capable and you can get cheap. But wow, this just wow. That's all I can say. I mean, it's almost any position you could throw a dart at on a board and hit, and you say, yeah, they need somebody there. Because when you do get rid of Ramsey, and Hill is gone next year no matter what, so you're going to have to fill them 2 positions also. So it's hard to even know where to start. The confidence level is very low at this point.
I agree. Jason, man, come on. What do you got? What do you think?
I mean, the confidence level is low for sure for immediate turnover and success here. But with 10 picks and with holes all over the place, you really can get away with best player available. Oh, look at that. We need that position anyway. So we're going to in that world where a cornerback is available. Dolphins need a cornerback. Who's the best player available? All right, it's a cornerback. Take him. All right, we need 3 defensive linemen. There's 1 defensive lineman here at 48. That's best player available. All right, take him. So it's theoretically very hard for the Dolphins to miss this draft with 10 picks and holes everywhere and good talent in day 2 and 3. Like really good talent at some of these positions that they need. If you're looking for a bruising running back for a couple of downs, day 3 is rife with power backs from rounds 4 on. If you're looking for 2 multiple defensive linemen, rounds 2 and 3, round 4, you could absolutely be in that market and get good players. Now for round 1, this is that. What is Chris Greer going to do? What does he like to do? Well, he likes to play the board to see where it lands because no one necessarily thought that Laramie Tunsil will end up in his lap years ago. Now, mind you, when they did that, they had a left tackle who was a Pro Bowl tackle, and they made Tunsil a guard for his rookie year. So a guy like a Kelvin Banks, is that out of the equation? Probably not. I don't think Armand Membu is going to slide down to 13. So do the Dolphins get a tackle and try to convert him into a guard, or do they end up with a cornerback in Will Johnson where everybody's going to be concerned about his injury and the Ajayi potential knee situation, which is something to be concerned about, absolutely. So the Dolphins, either they're gonna stick and pick with someone that is of need, or if they want to trade back, I think that 13 could be a trade back pick to maybe Pittsburgh. But then again, you can barely sign 10 rookies with the salary cap that they have. How are they going to do 12 or 13? So it's I don't know. But I would hope that the Dolphins find 3 absolute startable players, and that's actually undershooting. They should, with this structure, find 4. But I'm going to take a number down out of nervousness. They got to find 3. Have to.
Absolutely.
All right, Sammy. So we get all the. Oh, go ahead.
Now, before I go to our next segment, let's go to our comments. We have Bearded with our first ever super chat.
Bearded.
Sammy, Steve, Jason, amazing crew, missing some of the other diamonds that make the show as great as it is. Wishing you a great show. Thank you, my brother. We love you, Bearded. Our reigning defending Pickle League, Fins TV Pickle League champion. We're going to repeat that during the season. Please go ahead, Steve. We have I'm sorry, before you go, we have over 4,500 on X. Then on the next comment, please, there's a link for our YouTube page. We will encourage everyone to help us out, to go to the YouTube, to subscribe, to give us a like. We want to spend. We love the community. Your friends, a lot of first-time watchers over here. We love the Dolphins. We believe in the power of positivity. There's so many people who are negative right now for some reason, of course. But we try to be fair. We try to be positive. We like to laugh a bit about ourselves. So please, I beg you, please, give us a chance. Give us an opportunity. Go to the next comment. Go to YouTube and please give us a like and give us a subscribe on YouTube. Please go ahead, Steve.
No, we appreciate everybody tuning in. No, I just wanted to parlay what we have here and turn that into a segue into the next topic here of we could have an absolute embarrassment of riches of picks here. Let's say they move back and they get even more. We're going to be handing those new players over to a head coach, and we don't know if he's the right one, right, Sammy?
Absolutely. So next we're going to go, let me see if we got to do some May before we go. Let's go to our next segment. Can Mac Daniel change his ways? Well, I'll tell you what. If I was you, I will not. Second. Okay. Can Mac Daniel change his ways? If I were you, I will curb your expectations.
What's the condition of your offensive line? You obviously have.
Bro, oh.
Guten Tag. Oh, sorry, hello. Been in Germany for a while.
Like life, it's not about avoiding adversity, it's about flourishing within it.
Look at that. He's got his shoe game going. Like, this is not your typical head coach attire.
Mom loves Liam Moore. I'm cool. Also winning.
Hi, Mike McDaniel, successful nerd. It's a weird process hiring guys that are cooler than you. You know, then it's like...
I'll tell you what's going to happen with the Miami Dolphins. They lose. We can't beat good teams. We win. We're going to win the Super Bowl. None of it matters.
By the joint practice with Atlanta, and you know how much of a team guy he is. How heavily do you think that would weigh on him?
I mean, I feel like you're asking me to predict the weather here.
Hey, we didn't have a play called, Max. We didn't have a play called, Max. LOL.
Every staff meeting I put like at 7:24 or 3:24 or 5:24.
If we had a helmetless football league, you'd be the face of it.
Always keep you guessing. You know, he's a very prepared, smart fucking player. Oops.
Good answer. Good answer.
Well, that's my Madonna for you energies. I want to go first, Steve. Steve, you brought up the topic last time we were here on Fins TV. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna ask you first. Uh, there's any chance Mike Madonna can change his waist? I was one of the first who had not the greatest confidence in Mike Madonna's ways. He's a great guy. He's a great mind, but you need more than that sometimes to be a head coach. And I wanted to be proven wrong, but sometimes I don't know. He makes me like Phil Duffy used to say, it's maybe queasy. So
No,
I want to go first to you. Do you think Mike Manetta can change his ways and could be a completely different person this season and find a way to deal with the players, with the tardiness and everything else going with the Dolphins right now?
Look, the only reason I judge who Mike McDaniel is because he's the head coach of our Miami Dolphins. If he's not the head coach of my team, I don't give a damn what he does. But he is true to who he is. From the day he walked in here, he has been extremely meticulous about his handling of Tua Tagovailoa. He's also been extremely meticulous about how he handles his shoes, his watches, his outfits, everything else. The one thing that he doesn't seem to be meticulous about is from whistle to whistle, beginning and end of the game, how he's managing those games. And I've said this so many times on the show here. Head coaches very rarely, if ever, change who they are. I don't necessarily think the head coaches will they're definitely not going to come out in front of the cameras and say, hey, guys, you know what? I admit I've been wrong the past 3 years. I'm totally going to change who I am. I don't expect that of them. But I definitely don't think that he's capable of changing who he is to his core. He's that guy on the sidelines wanting to yuck it up, probably masking maybe some insecurities or something. I don't know why he pulls out all the quippy humor and all that stuff. It's brilliant. He's a brilliant guy. I'm not disputing that. But he doesn't know when to turn it off. And that's the problem. And he's not turning it off and setting that example for his players. He should, the Tyreek Hill situation at the end of the season last year should have been his wake-up call to say, I've got to change how I'm running things. And maybe he will. Prove me wrong. I'm not sure, and I want to pass this on to Jason, but I just don't necessarily know if he's ever going to care as much about his football as he does his fit. Jason.
How about you, Jason?
I don't. His way is him. I mean, he doesn't turn on or off. This is purely him, for better or for worse. Look, if it brings Super Bowls, I don't care what you do. I don't care if you wear hand gloves on your feet, but that's not happening. Mike McDaniel is a funny, quirky, smart guy, but it's almost like go back to high school days or maybe even college. You have the really cool, awesome professor, but when it comes time to the actual tests or when it comes time to know the knowledge, you might be lacking a little bit. When my friends over down the hall have the authoritative, the teacher who's just, not fun at all, but ultimately they're all just getting really good grades. And then at the end of the school year, it's like, is anyone shocked? This guy's having more fun. We're having more fun, but there's more success by someone who's given a little bit more stern direction. Maybe it's a bad example, but veterans are coming here knowing that it's a country club. I mean, to play the game in beautiful South Florida, tax-free. I'm not going to be doing wind sprints all the time. I'm going to be in this really lax, laissez-faire environment. I wonder where winning is on a lot of the people who want to either stay or come to South Florida, because you're knowing where the people who want to win are going. Calais Campbell's going somewhere else. Teron Upson's retiring because he's not going to put his body through this mess anymore. People want out. The captain situation. There's been 7 captains in the last 2 seasons that were captains that will not be Dolphins next year, no matter what. Xavier Howard, Javon Holland, Christian Wilkins, Calais Campbell, Teron Armstead, Jalen Ramsey, and I'm missing David Long. David Long was a captain, fine, but his performance fell off and ended up being released. But players are also picking the captains here. So, if you're picking the captains who are quitting on you and not really showing that absolute go-getting to try to win, they're going to reflect the way of the captain and the coach. We're having fun. Everything's great. Look at the kicks. Look at my shoes. Up, we blew a fourth quarter lead. Up, we're the worst team in short yardage. Up, we can't win on the road. Up, I'm freezing. Let's bundle up like everyone's bundled up on the sideline. This is football.
I wish it was
You're right. You could wear it. I wish it was colder shirt a couple of years ago. I was at that game, last game of the season, a couple of months ago against the Jets. Yes, the Denver Broncos put the whole thing out of the way early, but they were a team of dejected people looking like they were bundled up because they missed the school bus. It was pathetic.
So Eddie, we talked about this. You and I had a good back and forth exchange when it was talking about linebackers and talking about not having that commanding presence. Jerome Baker was on his way out. I wanted somebody to come in that was vocal, and I remember you telling me, is it going to make a difference in, impact wise, if it's not just a friendly environment, if somebody's screaming? Because you're right, having a drill sergeant scream in my face isn't going to make me do something faster, at least not permanently. In that moment he might, but there's got to be a balance, right?
Accountability. There's got to be accountability.
Absolutely right.
Because he's buddy, and do you think that McDaniel can flip it? Do you think he even observes that he needs to change that?
There's been some rumors out there. I don't know if you guys have read them or heard them, that he tried to flip it at the end of the year, and that's why Ramsey wants out now. But I'm not buying it. I don't think he can flip it. He is who he is. He'll never have complete command of players. It's a different era, anyways, with players. You're not getting the guys that did 3 a days. You're not. You're getting guys that are. Just look at college football. Go for that. They're transferring 4, 5 times just to make money, and that's all they're doing in the NFL now. And if you don't respect the head coach, what do you care? You're making your money. You'll just move on to a different team the next year. That's why he'll never have a commanding presence, and he doesn't. To me, I stood up for him over and over, but he doesn't command the respect. So the players walk on him, and they will continue to walk on him until they move on.
Okay.
So no, I don't think he'll help.
And that's entirely fair. So let me put it this way, and I know I want to move on. I don't know, Sammy, how much time we have here, but just throw it out there. Is it a possibility that he doesn't need to change who he is, but he changes how he runs an organization? CEO of a Fortune 500 company doesn't know how to run everything, but they go out there and they find the right people who can run each department, and that CEO steps back. I was hoping bringing in the offensive coordinator's name is skipping my brain right now, but Stoic. Yeah, my hope is that, hey, maybe he's just gonna take the hands off the handlebars and let somebody else steer. Jason, is there any possibility that perfect opportunity was when Vic Fangio was here, but hey, I'll take Anthony Weaver. But maybe on the offensive side, maybe can McDaniel take the hands off? He can still be the class clown, but somebody else drives.
I would like to see that, because there's a lot of stuff in this answer, because McDaniel, his number one thing was his offensive wizardry and his play calling. Yet it seems like the league kind of figured it out a little bit, maybe caught up. So I don't doubt his ability to get recreative and make some new fun stuff that we'll see. I have faith in him to do that. But what I need is a marriage of the right personnel, good offensive linemen, timely play calling on 4th and inches, 3rd and short, run forward. Now, the play calling obviously has something to do with the personnel that are blocking to make it easy for running backs to run forward, as opposed to McDaniel saying, I'm going to beat you with speed. 2 years ago, you might have been able to do that. Last year, no, not happening. So there's got to be the right personnel in this draft. There's got to be McDaniel leaning on his new person from an offensive play caller standpoint to call the right play that he drew up. I don't want to take the play design away from him, but the when and the where, especially when you're in the 2-minute drill, especially when you're on the road, when there's other things that you have to worry about. I think that this is where McDaniel has to kind of go back to what you said, Steve, delegate, but delegate appropriately. Who is the one telling McDaniel when or when not to challenge the flag? Or challenge
Clearly nobody.
Well, it's important, because if it's him making the decision by himself, he's not good at that decision-making process. He has to hire someone or put someone in place who is very good at that. And if he did that already, he's got to have the wherewithal to take that person out, insert someone else in, and say, this is your job. If I hear from you no times a game, I'm confident it was a clean game. If I hear from you 2 times, they better be right. And that's it.
100%.
I want to go to Eddie before we go to the comments into the next segment in the war room. Eddie, Mike McDaniel has been like, I call him a buddy coach so many times, but if I'm Mike McDaniel, I kind of feel hurt, because what they have done so many times is on McDaniel. He has trust them. He's let them, allow them to lead by example, lead by themselves, take care of themselves, police themselves. But if Tyreek Hill basically was the dagger in the back, because what Tyreek Hill taking himself out of that game when he trusted so much of him. There's been so many reports about the players being late. The reports was after the season. During the season, Mike McDaniel allowed them to do whatever they wanted. Like you said, they were going to take it after the season. But if I'm Mike McDaniel, I'm hurt, because I trust the players, and basically what Tyreek Hill and others did was basically stepping it back. What are your thoughts about that?
Go ahead. You have to put your foot down sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the problem. You have to, Steve.
No,
go to the comments. Let me talk to me.
No, but I mean, it really, we've said everything that needs to be said about this. I don't care when he puts his foot down, but it's going to be too late when he gets fired. And then some other team in 4 years might get the benefit of a coach who spent 3 years figuring it out.
Right.
Oh, yes, Adrian, thank you. Absolutely. Click that like button and subscribe.
Go to YouTube, please. YouTube.com. At FINSTV_, please. Go to there and please subscribe. See?
Subscribe. Nope, I've said it all, man. I'm looking forward to doing some drafting here. Let's get into the war room.
There's Sherry. Let me see who's there before we go to the comments. George for Fins Fable Podcast. Jason's a partner at Fins Fable Podcast. Great show, guys. Adrian again. We need my. Yeah. I had a chance to watch it before we were on the air. George is great. I congratulate them on having George. To do a podcast these days with so much negativity is not easy. And when the guys I thought about that, I think it was with Jason. But when you have a podcast and you find a way to be critical, because you have, of course, you have a voice, you're a fan, you can be critical, but you find a way to do it in a positive way, in a respectful way, in a hopeful way, like the guys on the Dive Bar podcast, and of course our friend George on Fins Faithful Podcast is great. So shout out to the Fins Faithful Podcast. Go find them on YouTube and find them on.
And Adrian, he was on here, Rainy Day Podcast.
Yeah, he's gonna be with us on next to the show at 8 p.m. Our draft review. So let me take off the comments over here so we can go to the next segment. So next we're gonna go to the Fins TV War Room. So basically, what we did last year is the Fierce TV War Room. We're going to try to recreate the Dolphins War Room. Let me see. I can find my notes over here, and there you go. We're going to have the part of the head coach is going to be played by Steve. Eddie is going to be the director of college scouting, and Jason is going to be the director of player personnel. So basically, the final choice is made by Jason, and I'm going to play our Steve Orman. Mr. Steven Ross going to be the owner. So we're going to have 10 minutes for the first round pick, 7 minutes to decide the second round pick, and the third round about 5 minutes. So let me see if I can go over here, and let's see if we can go to the war room. Let's see if we can do some magic over here, and let me see. There you go. So we're in the war room. Let me see.
Music to my ears.
There you go. Okay. Let me see. I can put the mock. I already put the mock simulator on, and here we go. So let me find. Talk about yourself before if I find the.
All right. So I'm going to open this up here. I'm the new head coach here in town. So everybody knows my predecessor had an absolute embarrassment of riches. I'm happy to see that we have a new person actually pulling the trigger on the switches here, Mr. Sarney. It's great to have you here. And Eddie, I trust that you've done your homework this offseason to give us some really good intel on who we should be picking. But I'm going to cut it to you guys straight here. We've got holes. We've got a lot of holes, and we don't have a whole lot of money to spend. That's what we have. But it's never been the way in Miami here, but we need to change that if we want to build a winning team and a winning culture. The culture is my job. Your job is building the team. My thought is we've got so many holes out there. I really like the flash. I like the skill positions, but I want trenches. And Eddie, I want you to tell me who we got out there that you reasonably think is going to be falling to us at 13 here that's going to set the future of the Miami Dolphins in the trenches. What do you got?
Well, I've done mock drafts for probably 100 of them. It really depends on if the quarterbacks go early or if Sanders slides. The running backs, they have the kid from North Carolina. Some of them have them going in the top 10 now. That's what's going to tell me if they should reach or not for an offensive lineman at 13. If Will Campbell falls to him, yes, take him. The kid from Texas, I don't know, Kelvin Banks, the left tackle, who I think they could kick down to guard. Some people got him going top 10. Some people got him going in the 20s. He has versatility. I think Will Campbell has versatility. I don't think Will Campbell's going to fall. I love Will Campbell, but and the other guy is Josh Simmons, who had an injury, so he should be right up our alley from Ohio State. He probably would have been the top lineman if he did not get hurt last year. There's picks there. I'm not sold on anybody after Campbell and I can't even say his name, Membu.
Armand Membu?
Before at 13. That's my only thing. If we could trade back, yes, definitely.
All right, so you're the one making the pick here, Jason, but I really value your input. So what do you think?
Well, I love your mindset in building from the trenches out. I've always subscribed to that philosophy, and I get it that with Jalen Ramsey's exit or eventual exit, we're going to need some cornerbacks too. Now, to go with Eddie's input too, I do like a couple of potential linemen. Look, if Membo's there, run the card up. Run it up. I mean, literally, just misspell it. I don't care. Just run the card up. Just get his initials. I don't think he will be there. I've been doing a lot of fun chalk top 10, and guys like Membo, Tyler Warren, Will Johnson, I even maybe see him going to 49ers. Maybe. He could be even taken before the Dolphins. So if those three guys are selected, I would be picking up the phone if a quarterback's available, seeing if Pittsburgh maybe wants to jump on up. Because remember, salary cap's an issue too. So if you move from 13 to 20, you're saving a couple of dollars on your first overall pick, which could be a good trench player, knowing that in the second round, I'm going to get myself a cornerback. In the third round, I'm going to get myself another trench player. So that's kind of the mindset that I'm kind of going in with. Trench, defensive back, trench, or any kind of amalgamation of that.
Yeah, I know that Will Johnson was one of the big names out there in a cornerback, but really, truly in the theme of Dolphins past, find that player. He's got an injury, some injuries in his history, and they'll find some way to pick him up and justify it or something like that. There's no way that we're going to be picking that, right, Jason?
I mean, look, if I'm playing the fun mock stuff, I have a whole different mindset than what I think might happen. You know what I mean? So injuries are a concern. There's a lot of concern with picking at number 13, which is why I'm open to maybe moving back. But it'll be very interesting to see how our mock board falls, and of course the board on Thursday. But I'm open to it.
So we are gonna be on the clock right now. So here we go.
We're on the clock. Okay. So now,
we're on the clock. Please.
I know what I said.
I'm sorry. Please let us know if someone comment like us and also someone. Please let us know if you can hear us for the board is in the. Please someone let us know. All right, there's the board.
Okay, so I know what I said, and I don't want to waffle here, but I figured that my predecessor really, truly did no favors in terms of being consistent other than consistently inconsistent. But if we could trade back here, and I don't think we have any trades, and that's okay, but I wouldn't be out of the realm of going in the sharp for dart type route here, where if we could get ourselves a Jackson Dart here, I don't think that that's really in what we're looking for here. But I would, if we can move back, I would. But I'll just stick true to my scruples here and say we need to build the trenches, and I want you guys to get me the best one possible, and we'll figure out where it goes from there.
Eddie, before we go to Jason, Eddie, let us know what you see on the board.
Ooh.
Well, I see a really good corner with knee issues. I wish he didn't have. I'd love to have him there and work on the trenches later. Kelvin Banks, he's 21 years old. You're getting a young player. He started 42 straight games at that position, so he's a tackle. If you can kick him inside, which a lot of people think you should kick him inside, he's got knockback power generated from his lower half, like a prize fighter, it says about him. And the tape against top players, he's always playing his best games when he's going against the opposing team's best player. So if you can't trade back, I'm going with Banks. Although it'd be hard for me to pass on the tight end that I love.
I like the input. I'm curious to see if there is that trade offer on that green trade offer area. Now, that's a haul. That actually is a haul. And I want to talk about this for a quick second. I'm not 1,000% endorsing the Dolphins trading out of the first round. But teams like Cleveland, teams like the Giants could give a king's ransom to move up to that slot. Now, however, if I were to have some fun, and I like to have some fun, I would very much think about this deal, knowing that I want to stop this draft at 26, 27, and I want to see who's available, and I want to take some of that capital and trade back in. This way I'm getting a guy that might have less of a headache. Now, I know I love Will Johnson, but he's got the knee. Do we want to take the other cornerback in Barron who does he play outside? Does he play in the slot? But they have Kader Kohu. Is he going to be an outstanding boundary corner where I want him? I don't know. But I can get an interior lineman. I can get a defensive tackle in the late 20s and a couple of more picks and save some money. I like that Giant deal, knowing that I'm going to be working like a bandit with you fellas to see, hey, did Gray Zabel fall? Did Tyler Booker fall? Can I get someone cheaper in the mid-20s. And knowing there's that second rounder for next year, you could play with that too. I entertain this deal knowing that I want to get back into the first round. That's my thought. I'm entertaining.
Here comes the owner. There's a Michigan guy on the board, and I want to make sure we can get a first round pick, that we can get that 5th-year option. So I need you to make a first round pick, Jason. I need a first round pick. So
then if you're that is fair, sir. Mr. Ross, the number 1 player on my board is Will Johnson.
My F1 card.
Okay, you're the owner, so if you want the liability that comes with him, I think that he's a blue chip player. The knee injury does scare me, but I've always said that Will Johnson's the guy you can't trade out of. But if you're the guy that's signing the checks, which you are,
I want you to take the best guy available right now. Whatever you think is best for the. I think Coach Hallett wants a pro defensive line. I'm pretty sure our pro scout have someone in mind, but I would like for you very much to make a pick right now. I want to make sure that I have that 5th-year option. I don't want to have a no I bet ugly scenario where I'm there and I'm stuck. So I want to make a pick right now.
No pressure, Jason. It's on you, man. Make the pick.
I'm going to write Will Johnson on the ticket, knowing that we're going to keep the next 2 rounds to the trenches.
Absolutely. So we're going to draft Will Johnson. Let me see the timer.
And this was the moment that the head coach realized that this was just a sinking ship and he wants off of it as quickly as possible. The relationship between the GM and the head coach is off to a bad start.
But that's why I gave you the promise that we're shifting to trenches. That's my word is bond in this fake draft here, Steve.
I get it.
Because I got a guy that I'm hoping falls that I think is a pure interior.
Opium is always alive in Miami. Here we go.
Oh, my God. Always. So let's go.
So we're going to send it in?
We'll send it in. Send it on in.
And we're off. There you go.
All right, we're gonna get the trades out because we're not in the trade market. We're making picks. If we weren't going to move in the first round, it doesn't make sense to move at this exact juncture right now.
Absolutely. So there's the board.
All right. Now, Tyleik Williams is a heck of a prospect, but I have a guy who's a little bit further down, smaller school, from a defensive line standpoint that I happen to love in Darius Alexander. I think he's a stud. But if you could scroll down a little further, what are the interior offensive linemen available to us?
Let me go back. Okay, offensive lineman. Defense. Offensive lineman? Okay.
Offensive lineman, please. Yep.
I'm pretty sure who you have.
Let's look at some guards.
Okay. Guards.
Okay. And if you go back to defensive tackles? TJ Sanders is a monster too. Tyleik Williams is a steal at this point. I would take Williams if we're going best player available. He should not be here at this point. He's a first round. He should be in the first round. I'm not calling him a first round graded player, but that's a value pick right there. That is
he going to contribute right off the bat? That's what we need.
Steve, I can contribute right away on the defensive line. Yes, he's going to contribute right away.
That's only because Zach Sealer is such a stud. I don't know, Eddie. What do you think, man?
Well, I don't have him as highly rated as Jason does, but he definitely has potential. He can be I think he should have been picked by, what are we on, pick 48, correct? Now he definitely should have been picked at the top of the second round. So I could absolutely see going with him. If you click on his chart.
Yeah.
Who you want, Eddie? Sorry.
Right next to the where it says draft. Click on the chart right next to it.
Right to the left of the draft logo. Right to the left.
What am I looking at?
Tyleik Williams.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I like him. That size right there. It's something Miami lacks. It's something they need to stop a 3rd and 1, a 4th and 1, and not get the ball shoved down their throat all the time. He didn't play his senior year of high school football because of COVID. He allowed his weight to creep towards 370, but he did get his weight back down, and he turned into one heck of a football player. I'd have no problem with you taking him here.
Question is between big school, Power 5 conference guy in Williams or a smaller school and a Darius Alexander. Look, you saw from a different position what Quinyon Mitchell did out of the same school with the Eagles' rookie year. The small school doesn't scare me. If Williams was taken, I'd run up the ticket for Darius Alexander right now. So, Coach, are you a tiebreaker here, Coach?
I'm not going to pick one of them, but here's my mindset. I don't care about the intangibles when it comes to this stuff. I care about how they showed up in games. I don't want to know how they did in the combine. I don't want to know about an interview. I want to know when they had the pads on, who were they and what are they going to be when they get to that next level. So if you're sold on Darius Alexander being that guy, being the man, then go for it.
You know what?
I want to go with the bigger school. Go the other route, but I'm going to trust you're looking into this and Eddie's countless months over the past year of just grinding through the tape and scouting all these players, because that's what he's been doing, and build those trenches, because that's what you promised you were going to do.
I'm gonna. Hey, listen, we're picking a trench player. That's 1,000% now. A little food for thought for Eddie, for my owner here, Mr. Ross and Steve. Maybe Williams is sliding down for reasons that no one's figured out yet. So that could be a red flag. But I love Alexander in this spot to begin with, so I'm getting on that. Cosa Nostra, give the small school players a chance. I'm with you there. I think Alexander's a guy he's going to earn his bread. He's going to earn his money.
He does have some off-field problems that says he could slide in the draft. Yes.
Women are all dancing around it.
You know, Chris Greer loves, I don't want to speak in past tense, loves him some big school players with a little, but I like the small school. I like the potential story of going from small school, getting a chance to hopefully play in some big games. I know we're running out of some time. I like Darius Alexander here. He's been on my wish list from day one.
Send it in.
Send him in.
So where are we? There we go. Here. Where are we picking, Jason?
Darius Alexander from Toledo. Then experience.
What position? I can find it. What position is it?
Defensive tackle.
Defensive tackle. Darius Alexander.
Oh, here we go. From Toledo. We're going to send it in?
Send him on in.
Okay, let's send it in.
Nah, he's clean, man. He's a clean prospect.
Where's Toledo? It's not South Beach.
No,
a man hasn't been down there in South Beach. I like that.
I like the trenches. I like weather involved there. This guy is from the Midwest, you know, an Indiana kid. Like him.
Oh, we have a
nope. This is a valuable pick here. We're sticking here, and we got to go to the offensive line. Got to go offensive line here, no matter what.
I need my quarterback to have time to throw.
Now that might be.
I need my running backs to be able to run.
That's it. So let's go to the guards. Let's go to the interior. Now I'm guessing Tate Ratledge is gone. I'm now okay. Here we go. Now Dylan Fairchild comes from Georgia. This is where I would go back to the big school. Great lineman on this Georgia Bulldogs team. There's like 5 of them who could be drafted, I feel like. Dylan Fairchild, I think you plug him in at left guard. You know what this pick says? If you think Liam Eichenberg is going to play, let him beat out the rookie. And then you tell the rookie, if you want to play, you better beat out the veteran who everyone doesn't like. I love this competition. I'm going Fairchild right now.
How about you, Eddie? Tell me what you see on the board. If we're gonna go offensive line, I want to know what your thoughts are.
Well, you need a guard. You're pretty much set at tackle. I'd go with Dylan Fairchild. He's 6'5", 318. He's got something I love. He was a wrestler. Most of your best guards wrestle, and it says he's a bully.
6'5" what?
6'5", 318.
And that dude wrestled? Good God.
Yeah.
Imagine that dude in his singlet, walking around like a onesie.
Give me the name again.
He played. This is what I like. He played 1,427 snaps in the last 2 seasons and gave up just 14 pressures and 1 sack on 837 passing attempts.
Now remember, this is the back end of the third, so this is essentially almost like a 4th round kind of territory, almost. So I like this to end day 2, meaning cornerback, 2 trench players, and now we can go into day 3 with 7 picks.
So what's the name? Who are we picking?
We're going Dylan Fairchild, a guard.
Offensive guard, Georgia.
Okay, you're going to send it in?
Send them on in.
Here we go. Okay. So next we're at 116th.
Let's see everyone on the board. Yeah. Now I have to ask this question. What quarterbacks are available?
Yes. I mean.
All right. The guy that I would love is Kyle McCord. This might seem early for him, but I've seen him go in the 4th round. You're not going to get him in the 5th round. I am not sold on the next 5 years of Tua. I like the kid. I honestly hope everything comes together, but you need a quarterback to, I think, sit, learn. Whatever happens with Tua and Zach Wilson this year, that kid can either be the starter or the backup next year. I don't see Tua and Zach Wilson on this team in 2026, so I'm getting a quarterback that I can actually groom. And you never know. Maybe there's lightning in a bottle. I'm not missing on Kyle McCord. I won't be able to sleep if we pass on Kyle McCord here.
All right, pull those quarterbacks back up because I want Eddie to see what he thinks. If we're thinking quarterbacks here, we're entertaining this and freaking out so much of the Bama Dolphin Nation. What are you thinking?
Dylan Gabriel. I do not like Dylan Gabriel.
Likewise.
I think he's
likewise.
That's like a poor man's
Tua
version of Tua.
With who can
Quinn
run.
Ewers. Yeah, who can run?
So,
Quinn Ewers.
Basically,
Not
Marcus
bad.
Mariota, entonces?
Yeah. I don't know how they have Riley Leonard above Kyle McCord. I have no idea. Maybe potential, but I don't know. I think Kyle McCord, them top. I like 125 and 169, the 2 QBs out of them. Them are the only 2 I really like right there. I think he has really good potential. Maybe early for him, but at least he has some size. He's 6'3", 225. He has a good arm. I believe he started at Ohio State, didn't he?
He's Ohio State.
Does anybody know?
Yep, started out as Ohio State. He's a kid who had played Northeast or Midwest football, obviously played inside a dome in Syracuse in his home game. But he's a smart kid. He gets the ball out quick. I think he could be system-friendly, but he could be also, forget about the system for McDaniel with his intellect. He's a good pocket passer who can move when he has to.
Anymore. I'm the coach now.
He probably throws the best seam football in seam pass in college football out of any quarterback.
I admit, Adrian, this is definitely a reach in a sense, but it's a quarterback pick, and we don't have to spend any extra capital to get it. I think we could be able to find some of the more fun positions: a wide receiver, a running back, a safety, a linebacker. We're going to be able to find some players in the next couple of picks. I love McCord here, guys. What do you say, boss?
I think that Kosa's got a point here, but raise your hand if you want to see another year of just the Skylar Thompsons of the world, the Mike Whites of the world. Knowing that when your quarterback goes down, maybe not this year because, we got Zach Wilson here, the world is going to be okay. But next year, knowing that we have somebody reliable, somebody that is, frankly, like you said, I don't think he's going to last into the fifth. I think that this is a very smart pick. I agree with the mindset that, he played in the Dome in Syracuse, but he also played a lot outside football in the cold weather. And that's where we need Miami to be going. If we're thinking quarterback at this time right now, 100% Kyle McCord.
I don't think there's a guy that I like outside of him. He's like the last guy. Maybe Rourke, obviously Shuck went, but Will Howard went. I think we need a quarterback here out of the 10 picks, and here's a good spot.
I agree.
Let's go McCord. Now I'm focusing on my coach and my personnel guys, my scouts. I'm looking for maybe a skill position player if someone jumps off the board here. But more importantly, if we're looking at other just phases of football, every pick now, if they're not going to have a specialty, I need them to be a special teams player. I got a couple of guys who could either be in the return game, a coverage team, and be a linebacker or a safety. I'm looking for special team difference makers, because raise your hand if you've watched awful special teams in the last 3 years. 4 years, 5 years, my God.
And we lost Saran Neal.
So. And we lost Saran Neal, one of the best gunners and aces you can get. So we need guys who could be dogs on the third unit.
What round are we in right now?
4. We have that other 4th round pick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. What do we got? Who's on the board, man?
Can you put the board up?
Yes, yeah, everywhere. There you go.
Ooh.
Run up there. Number 112. Run up and get him.
I agree. Yep. He's a love of mine. This is a guy. Eddie, do you want to take the floor? Folks, if you don't know Savion Williams, this is a wide receiver who's 6'4" and change. I don't like 6'3". He's 6'4", but
he wears big cleats.
He could line up as a running back. He could be a wildcat quarterback. He is a difference maker, a yards machine. He has to work on some drop issues, sure, but this is a gadget plus player. He doesn't need to be a gadget player, but if you want to start his career as such, he is going to be an explosive wide receiver. He could score 3, 4 different ways if you might give him a return chance.
Preston Williams, but is he going to actually?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
That hurts.
No, he's not Preston Williams.
Okay.
I think I love this, Eddie. Eddie, this is like bonus pick here. You're getting a bonus pay for this.
Yes.
Pick. I love
that. I thought he'd be gone here. I thought he'd be gone, to tell you the truth. He's like he's a way bigger version than Debo Samuel. The kid has a 40-inch vertical. He squatted 600 pounds. He has a 355 bench, and he runs 22.5 miles an hour, and he ran a 4.4 at that size.
So you're basically saying he's what Eric Subama was supposed to be.
And more, because he has the potential to line up as a wildcat quarterback and literally run up the gut or jump over a pile for a yard or two,
yes,
or 6 points. So I think that this is a really fun pick to mix and match offensively. All right, and see if you can use him at very choice spots. Look, he's not going to get 90 targets as a rookie, but this is an awesome developmental player to watch and have fun with.
So we're going to send it in?
Send it on in. Eddie, you're writing the ticket in, my man. You're sending this one in.
All right, send it in.
Can he play tackle?
Probably better than Liam.
Oh, man. So
I see.
So the question is, are we doubling down on
it's a double
guard,
down,
or are we doubling down on tackle? Jason?
Steve, I'm coming to you on this one because I know that you have Patrick Paul at left tackle, but I got a guy who could be our swing tackle in Jalen Travis, smart kid, played at Iowa State previously, went to Princeton. He's a big dude. He's 6'7". This could be, God forbid, if Patrick Paul doesn't work out, maybe him, but he could be the swing tackle that we pretty much need as well, because you lose a Kendall Lamb. We need depth on the line. He could back up Austin Jackson in a pinch. I like Jalen Travis here, fellas.
Okay. I'm going to trust your opinion and that of Eddie's when it comes to this, but the only consistencies in Miami are disappointing football seasons, sunshine, and an offensive line that falls apart midway through the season. So we need depth. We need reliability. We need somebody that's going to be able to step in there. So, Eddie, what do you think, man?
A high character, big brain kid. He has an Ivy League degree from Princeton, and he's got a lot of upside. He comes from a basketball family, so the whole family's athletic. He's 6'7", 340 pounds. He played 5 years of football. His RAS score is 990, which ranked him 15th out of 1,395 offensive tackles from 1987 to 2025. I know you're not looking for just metrics, but this kid can play, and I think he has tremendous upside.
What side of the offensive line did he play on? Right or left?
He played left. He can play both.
Okay. Well, Kyle McCord is going to be a right-handed quarterback, yes?
Yeah.
So we need to protect his blind side.
Yes.
So, all right.
So we're gonna send it in.
I'm very happy with this pick, guys. If you're okay with it,
do it.
All right.
So Jalen Travis, right?
Jalen Travis.
Let's send it in.
Send it in.
And we're back again. So we double down on offensive lineman. Are we doubling down on defensive tackle, or we're going to the
maybe. I want to see what's left in the secondary in terms of safeties. Now the Dolphins have pieces in the safety group, but I don't love it. But I like the potential of like a Patrick McMorris. They have Ashton Davis. They have Elijah Campbell coming back. A couple of signees. It's a little thin right now in the safety class. My sleeper's gone, and Caleb Branch. Oh, Caleb, there we go. Wait. They have Caleb Brancho as a cornerback. He's a safety, really, too. Say like he's a safety. But Caleb Brancho. Let's see who else is available. Everyone else.
Okay, let's go to.
If we're doubling up on defensive tackle, I like Jordan Phillips. I know that name might scare people, Dolphins fans.
Yes.
It does. Riley Mills is a player. He's coming off an injury, but he's got heavy potential. Good character guy. Do me a favor. We have one other pick before we get to the 7th round after this, right?
This has to be pretty money because this is the round of Zach Thomas, Rashad Jones, and one Andrew Van Ginkel. So we know that it has to hit.
Go back to everyone available, please, Sammy.
Yes.
Scroll down a little bit. You know, I really see Jalen Lane is a little bit of a. See, he's a guy who could be a return man, and he could be a big time threat receiver. I don't know that I think we can get somebody later. We don't need that just yet. I like the kid from Notre Dame. I like Riley Mills here.
Tell me a little bit about. Do you have any on Riley Mills, Eddie?
Yeah, you got to give me 1 second. I have papers everywhere because I'm going back and forth on the players. But let's see here.
Coach, do you think after we're done here with going probably defensive tackle and what's the biggest thing you find on the roster supply, Coach?
We need to build up the defensive side of the ball. We've got way too many holes over there. The secondary scares the hell out of me, and any injuries within the linebacking core, we're going to be scraping the free agent wires midway through the season. But I think we need to just keep our eyes on the future because really, truly, let's be real. We're rebuilding right now, and we need to build for the future. So I want trenches.
Talk to me, Eddie. We're talking about Riley Mills, Jason.
He's he's a high character kid, a high motor player, 6'5", 291. Probably he could be your closest thing to like a Zach Sealer type is how I would. He'd almost be like a Zach Sealer twin, that kind of player. He's second team All American last year. He's coming off the injury, but he'd be a solid pick here.
He's a football player. What do you mean? He's a guy who can play. Has probably talent to develop, like like Zach Sealer, who was an undrafted player. So, what are you gonna do, Jason?
I like Riley Mills. I like the character. I like the motor. I like the skills, and he's the kind of guy that will have probably, I hate saying it, but like Jalen Phillips' work ethic in rehab. You know what I mean? Someone who's going to fiend to get back on that field.
So we're sending it in.
Send it in.
Riley Mills.
Riley Mills.
That's his name, right?
Yes, sir.
So next pick is 224.
We're in the 7th round now, fellas.
Yeah.
We're in the end game now.
So we're getting a kicker, right?
No. We're gonna have some fun here. We're gonna get some special teamers, and we're gonna get go. Do me a favor. Go to linebackers. See if my guy Jay Higgins is available. He's gone. It looks like. Yeah, he's gone.
I think he's on, yeah.
All right. What can you do? Kobe King is someone you want to circle. I think he did have a meeting with the Dolphins, if I'm not mistaken. But I do see Kobe King's a guy who, you might want to throw him in there on that linebacking core, maybe mix him with special teams. Let me see what you got with the defensive backs. You're good?
Defensive backs, right?
Defensive backs, yeah.
Defensive backs. There you go. B. Adams.
What about a safety?
That should be even lower, right? No.
Okay. Slim pickings there. And show me the board of who we drafted. Just click on the Dolphins logo. Just let's see the whole so far. Yeah, right up where it says next pick. Any Dolphin logo on the draft results.
Okay. Over here?
Yep. Okay, so cornerback, trenches, quarterback, wide receiver, tackle. All right, so we could use maybe another defensive back.
For sure.
A running back. So going to the running backs, let's see some running backs.
Yeah. I'm surprised Coach Haller hasn't come for a big back, a gold back.
No, I'm not too worried about that. We can
Scroll
find
down
some.
a little bit. Scroll down a little bit. Back up. Now, if we go all the way back up again to the running backs, LaQuint Allen from Syracuse isn't necessarily your power back, but he's got a job. He led collegiate running backs in receptions. He could be a third down back in a receiving sense. He could be a special teamer. I like Allen here, and you're bringing him in with McCord, so there's some familiarity there from quarterback and running back maybe.
I just want somebody right now that's going to be able to contribute on special teams.
That's
special
Allen.
teams.
Allen could work his way into the special teams unit for sure.
Eddie, any thoughts?
Let me see what I have on our man here, Mr. Allen. All right, he has some size. He's 6'2", 207. So it's not like he's a small kid. He's a former Gatorade New Jersey High School Player of the Year. He made it through some turmoil when his father was murdered in 2023. Then he was suspended for the 2023 season for a fight in which he punched a student in the face after coming in the defense of a teammate at a party.
Little LeGarrette
But
Blount.
the 7th round, and you can't repeat. I'm just a scout, but you can't repeat trying to use Devon Achane or Achane, however you want to say his name, as a lead back and think he's going to be your lead back behind this line. You need somebody with some size and power for 3rd and 1.
Can get his hands dirty. So this is what you want in the 7th rounder. Who's going to make the team by doing the hard things, not necessarily the stat stuffers. Special teams and coverage, maybe even getting in on those 3rd downs. But I like him here.
He's only 20 also. He's only 20 years old.
Get some good people around him, good coaching. Think you're all right.
So let's send the picking. Let me go here. So we're ready for, but I think it's our last pick, right?
We have two more.
Two more? Yeah, you're right.
I'm going to go with Kobe King here. You know, let's say that they liked what
Yes.
they had with him. I think, again, you add some depth in the linebacking room. I like the linebacker group. I don't love, I like. But to bring a kid in and to see what he can do in the next couple of years, yeah, Kobe King here.
So let's send it in so we can move on to the next. Well, Coach, I want you to have the last pick. You see your roster, you know where your fields are, so I want you to have this pick. Either you do it or the owner do it. So I prefer for you to do it. So what do you think we still have holes so we can fill in the draft?
Okay, so this is what we're sitting at. I'm not going to lie. I don't know who the hell any of these people are. So in that case, I'm the coach. I'm going to have the say. Scroll down until you find the name Florida Gators on there.
Now, let me ask you, I have a quick question. Is Robert McDaniel available? He might be listed as a cornerback or a safety.
If he's not, there you go. Elijah Badger. You want somebody who's got hands, who's got a motor on him, came into on the backside of Ricky Pearsall leaving. Elijah Badger.
I like it. It rounds out the positions that you like. I mean, you got Williams, but to add one more receiver, not bad. I'm going with the coach here.
There you go.
So
and there it is, down and dirty.
That's the FINSUP Award. Number 13, Will Johnson, cornerback. 48, Darius Alexander, the defensive tackle, Toledo. At 98, Dylan Fairchild, the guard from Georgia. Number 116, Kyle McCord, the quarterback from Syracuse, who I know Jason loves. And number 135, Savion Williams, the wide receiver from TCU. Number 150, pick 150, Jalen Travis, offensive tackle, Iowa State. At 155, Ryle Mills, defensive tackle, Notre Dame. At 224, LeQuinn Allen, from running back from Syracuse. And the special teamers at number 231, Kobe King, linebacker from the state. At 253, Elijah Bayer from Florida. So basically, that's the simulation picks from the board. Guys, how do you feel? What grade will you give yourselves if you're ready? I'm gonna go first with Eddie. Eddie, what grade will you give the FINSUP War Room draft?
Well, with all the holes we have on this team, I think we hit a home run because we filled a lot of them for now and the future. You've improved your trenches immensely. You got your corner when Ramsey's gone. You got your quarterback, who I think could be a quarterback for the future. I don't think I think he's way more than just backup potential in Kyle McCord. He's a kid I loved. I loved Kobe King. I was hoping he'd be there in the 7th. I don't know. We did take him, right?
Yeah.
From Penn State, the linebacker. Yep. Love him too. And one of my absolute favorite picks is Williams.
Yep.
Savion Williams. He's there. I am running to that board. I am running to the thing and putting his name up there.
I'm running with you in lockstep, Eddie. If he can get to the 100s, outstanding value.
Yes.
I'm going to give a B+. The reason why, cause I don't like to, exaggerate in something that we've created, but I think that we did good in checking the boxes of players. And the plus is because there is plus side potential with a lot of them. If Will Johnson's healthy, home run type of a pick. If Darius Alexander proves that he can play under the big time lights and not just the small school kid, home run type of pick. And, a guy like a Savion Williams, I like his potential. And then, you like the depth position players that we got. So a lot of upside. I like a B+ here.
I'll give it a B. A B+. Just my biggest fear is that we start this rebuild process, knowing where we are, knowing what we need for the future, and we tie it to a player in the first round with injury concerns. Did he stand up? Was he an absolute stud in college? 100%. But the pros is the next level, and who was the top All-American in college is now just a rookie in the pros. So it's a different game, and frankly, our defensive backfield it's sparse. So, but I think it's solid.
Absolutely. So if you ask me, you guys get an A. I think you did a wonderful job. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the homework you always done with Jason, with Fins Fable podcast with our friend George. You did all outstanding job on the on-season. And I know Eddie takes this very seriously. I commend him for doing that. I asked him to please do that, to get to work on it, and I know he did the job. And so I appreciate you, Eddie. You always do great. So we're gonna wrap it up. But next, we're gonna go to the next segment before we go to the big finish. Let's go to the FINSUP overreaction. So it's the FINSUP overreaction. It's gonna be very quickly. It's just one question in this overreaction. I'm gonna start first with with Jason before I go to Steve. Jason, just one question. The Dolphins are already done in 2025. Is that an overreaction?
I think it's an overreaction, but I say that with tempering expectations this season. Like, there are too many better teams in the AFC East to think that they're contenders and the AFC overall. But I don't want to say that they're done, because they could look. We live in a world where we were 1-15 and then they won the division the next year. Crazy things happen. They were not 1-16 last year. They just missed the playoffs by a game, and they're in this sort of a rebuild, retool. I think it's an overreaction to say that they're done, but this might not be a very fun year. That's what I'm kind of preparing myself. So that could be 7-8. I'm sorry, 7-10, 9-8, 8-9, but missing what we're looking to do.
Absolutely. How about you, Steve? That's only one question on the overreaction segment this time. The question is, the premise is, the Dolphins are already done in 2025. Is that our overreaction?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay true to our man Matt Armstrong here. Give him a shout out. Seriously, we are months away from taking a meaningful snap in the 2025 season. We have no clue what is going to happen within the Miami Dolphins house, within any of the other teams out there. To Jason's point, 110%, this is going to be a challenging year, but I have my expectations for the 2025 season to be very, very modest. So I'm not going to get my hopes up. I'm looking forward to football. That's what I'm looking forward to. Looking forward to those meaningful Sundays again. So
you have basically curbed your expectations. Let's go to the
110%.
I want to take a moment to recognize Carl Fennell, the godfather, founder of the webpage Fins.com. Before the social media that we know today, Kurt was a pioneer, as Fins.com was the premier source of information for so many fans just like me. Kurt grew up in Miami, later moving to New England, but his love for the Dolphins never wavered. Kurt went to MIT because he wanted to become an astronaut. A Metro News Daily article said of Kurt years ago, he didn't become an astronaut, but he's flying high on life. Without having the pleasure of knowing him, his work allowed me to give growth to my fandom. Thank you for all your contributions. They had not gone unnoticed, and I will remember him forever. A U.S. Marine veteran, a husband, a father, a friend to Chris at Fins.com, and many others. A visionary and a Dolphins fan forever. May he rest in peace.
Well, I'm sorry. We gotta run. So please follow us on social media. Please like and subscribe. The link for the YouTube page is under this stream. We have exactly 7,187 on X, and some more on my platform and other platforms. I appreciate you all. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com at FinsTV _ at Instagram at FinsTV _ Fins _ TV _ and then X at FinsTV _ guys, I want to appreciate you both. Jason, you're always great. We Steve's taking a sabbatical next week, so we're going to have Sherry Hallett as our co-host for next week. It's going to be awesome. I expect Jason to join us for our post-draft show. Adrian Reading will be with us, and of course, George for the Fins Fable podcast. And then return our friend, our beloved Matt Armstrong. So, Jason, where they can find you on social media?
Jason _ Sarney at Twitter. And yeah, looking forward to this draft process, everybody.
Appreciate you being here, Jason. Thanks a lot, man. Made it great.
Appreciate you both, guys. I know you got to run both. I appreciate you for the oversized show to the 7,200 watching all platforms. We appreciate it. This is FinsTV. Please like and subscribe on every platform. We truly appreciate it. As always, thank you very much. And so remember, anytime, everywhere you are, when you say Miami, no matter what, you always talk a Super Bowl. Fins up.
Fins up, yo.
Thanks for watching Fins TV. Please like and subscribe. Fins up.